The Echoes of Solitude. I have always been familiar with loneliness. It crept into my life like an old friend, uninvited yet persistent. The silence in my small apartment stretched out like an endless road, and the ticking of the clock on the wall seemed to remind me of time slipping away unnoticed. Loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty, I once read in a book by Mother Teresa, and I felt it deeply. It wasn't just the absence of people, but the absence of connection. There was a time when I believed solitude was a punishment, something to be escaped. I spent years trying to fill the void with fleeting friendships, crowded rooms, and conversations that echoed with emptiness, but the loneliness remained. Until one day, I stumbled upon a line by Michel de Montaigne. The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. That was the moment I decided to stop running from myself. Instead of resisting the silence, I embraced it. I picked up old hobbies I had abandoned, like painting and writing. I took long walks by the river, allowing the rustling leaves to whisper secrets of the past. I began to understand that, as Wayne Dyer once said, you cannot be lonely if you like the person you're alone with. As weeks passed, loneliness transformed into something else. It became a companion rather than a curse. I saw beauty in solitude, how it sharpened my awareness, made the sunsets more vibrant and the night air more poetic. Loneliness adds beauty to life, Henry Rollins had said, and now I understood why. But I also realized that life in its fullest form was meant to be shared. So I reached out. I volunteered at a local shelter where I met people who carried their own echoes of solitude. In their eyes, I saw fragments of myself. I struck up conversations with strangers, not out of desperation, but out of curiosity and warmth. I discovered what Jules Renard once warned about. If you are afraid of being lonely, don't try to be right. It wasn't about proving myself or being perfect. It was about being open. One evening, as I sat on a park bench watching the city lights flicker in the distance, I reflected on my journey. Loneliness had once been a prison, but now it was a teacher. Pray that your loneliness may spur you into finding something to live for, great enough to die for. I recalled reading from Dag Hammarskjöld, and in that moment, I knew I had found that something. I no longer feared loneliness, because I had learned its lesson. It had taught me to embrace myself, to seek connection, and to find beauty in solitude. And most importantly, it had shown me that even in the quietest moments, I was never truly alone.